everyone, it's John from What Up, and welcome back to another video. And yes, in a What Up exclusive, we have learned that Shohreh Aghdashloo will be playing Elaida Sedai for Season 3 of Sony and Amazon's Wheel of Time show. New to the channel, you don't know what we do here? We cover Wheel of Time show news, pretty much anything and everything to do with Wheel of Time. That's what we talk about here. We're also doing reviews, Easter egg videos, and breakdown videos for every single episode of Season 2. If you haven't already watched them, they're in playlists here on the channel. Feel free to check them out. There's a whole lot of good stuff in there. But we also cover news for Season 2 and Season 3 and leaks. And I have a ton of leaks stockpiled for Season 3, and I sort of thought that the midpoint of Season 2 would be a good point to release one to keep you folks happy until we start releasing more of them after Season 2 ends. So, the history behind this is sort of interesting. A couple of months ago, WhatSeries.com released an article that was an exclusive that placed Shohreh Aghdashloo on set of Season 3 of The Wheel of Time. However, they were unsure of which character she was going to be playing. Now, the set itself had some Andorran banners on it, so of course there was a ton of speculation on which character she would actually be playing for the show, but no one knew for sure. What Up has received documentation that proves that she will be playing Elaida Sedai for Season 3 and beyond of the show, which is pretty exciting. Now, there's a little bit of history with this actress in the show, and it's kind of neat how all of this came to be. A few years ago, she was fan cast as Cadsuane Sedai, and a lot of the fandom on Twitter, or X as it's called now, started sort of bugging the showrunner Rafe Judkins and her to get together and talk because she'd be perfect for the role. Rafe Judkins actually came out on Twitter and released a statement saying that he had had a perfect role in mind for her for a number of years and they would like to get in touch, and they both sort of teased the fandom over the next couple of months or so. Then everything went real quiet. She was then spotted in Prague no more than 6 months later, and it was speculated that she'd be joining the show, and it wasn't until WhatSeries.com actually broke an exclusive saying she was on set that we knew she was part of the show, but we weren't sure which role she was playing. Now that we know she's playing Elaida Sedai, I, for one, am pretty excited. If you don't know who Shohreh is an Iranian-American actress that was born in 1952, and she was in acting since 1976, and she's been in a ton of things. And when I say she is an incredible actress, I mean it. She's probably one of the best actresses we have right now, still doing work. She's been in a ton of different things, but if you want to see her in something to really see the range of how I think she's going to be playing Elaida Sedai, you're going to want to watch The Expanse. This is where she really shows her acting chops as a character similar to Elaida. Not quite the same, but a little bit similar in some aspects. And I think we're going to see much the same type of acting from her on the show. Now, I featured her on the channel a couple of times before, so we've talked extensively about her career and how great of an actress she is. However, we haven't really talked that much about Elaida. So I'm going to talk about Elaida just in very general spoiler-free stuff, and then I'll give a spoiler warning. We'll do a little bit more of a deep dive in the character that she'll be playing for Season 3. So, spoiler-free version is Elaida Sedai is a Red sister who was the advisor to Queen Morghese. Rand actually met her in the Eye of the World, and she came back to the Tower with Elaine when Elaine actually joined the Tower to be trained as a novice. She is an integral part to a number of plot lines throughout the rest of the series, and one of the very major characters in the books, and I assume she'll be the same in the show. So getting someone of Shohreh's caliber and acting capabilities is a huge win for Amazon for this particular show, and I can't imagine she came cheap because she is so good as an actress. All right, so let's do a little bit more of a deep dive into Elaida and what I think is going to happen in the show with her. So to do that, I have to give a bit of a spoiler warning. So, spoiler warning, if you've not read the entire Wheel of Time series, yes, that's every book from the Eye of the World up to and including A Memory of Light, the full 14-book series by Robert Jordan and Brandon Sanderson, be forewarned, I may ruin plot points and character arcs from that medium. All right, so Elaida, like I said, was the advisor to Queen Morghese. She met Rand very early on in the book series in the Eye of the World. She has the gift of foretelling, and she basically foretold that Rand would be at the center of strife for the entire world. She was going to lock him up in the dungeons immediately, but Morghese said, no, you can't really do that. He's done nothing wrong. You can't lock him up based on something he may do, even though it's a foretelling, and let him go. When she went back to the White Tower with Elaine, she basically started immediately plotting against the Amyrlin. She found out the Amyrlin and Moiraine, amongst others, were sort of supporting someone who was the Dragon Reborn, and she used that as pretense to have a coup. And when the coup happened, warders fought warders, tower guards fought other tower guards, Aes Sedai, well, they didn't really fight each other, but they took sides as well. And eventually, Siuan and Lyanna were both stilled, and Elaida was raised Amyrlin. So she stayed Amyrlin for a good chunk of the rest of the series. And she is the perfect character in the series that is an absolutely terrible person and an antagonist to all the heroes in the show without actually being a dark friend. So she's not a dark friend. She's just a really terrible person. She makes a ton of bad decisions. She is influenced by dark friends. So her Keeper of the Chronicles, Alvarian, is a dark friend, a member of the Black Aja, and she influences Elaida a number of different ways throughout the book series. But Elaida just makes a ton of really rash decisions. She is incredibly arrogant. She thinks she is better than everyone else. She uses power for power's sake. She humiliates sisters. She demotes them. She sends Aes Sedai to go work on farms. She basically alienates everyone and anyone around her and is the exact opposite of what a good leader should be. In fact, she's the perfect example of toxic leadership that kind of lets power go to its head. Elaida is a central point to a number of different storylines throughout the rest of the series, but especially Egwene and the Seanchan. So Egwene is raised as Amyrlin of the rebel Aes Sedai and sort of sits in opposition to Elaida and raises an army to go against her. That's a huge, absolutely amazing storyline in the book series that I can't wait to see play out on the screen. And we do know for a fact that the Tower Coup is happening in Season 3. We've seen leaked photos of blood on the walls, waters covered in blood so far. So likely they're filming the Tower Coup early on in Season 3. So the fact that Elaida was in a place with Andoran banners, when Shora was actually playing her, is likely when she was in Caemlyn before she came to the Tower. And maybe she came to the Tower to start the coup. Either way, they made a number of different changes from books to show, so we can't be absolutely sure she'll be the Amyrlin through the coup immediately, but my money's on that storyline will likely mostly stay intact. Now, let me know in the comments down below what you folks think. Are you happy Shora's going to be playing Elaida? I, for one, am. Right from day one, I was, didn't like her for Cadsuane at all, because, in fact, I really don't like Cadsuane as a character that much, but I love Elaida. Elaida is an incredibly well-written, toxic leader, and I think Shora will just absolutely bring that character to life. She is an incredible actress, and I think she's going to do a fantastic job doing it. All right, let me know what you folks think down below, and let me know how you think she's going to be introduced and how the Tower Coup will play out in Season 3. Thank you so very much for sticking with us here to the very end. Here's to many more.